My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC picks and DraftKings lineups run by professional fighters and MMA insiders. Every week, I join Nick Newell, professional fighter, professional model, and ESPN top 10 guest, along with Dan Kramer, UFC fighter, Bellator fighter, Ultimate Fighter alumni, and Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. And we break down every single fight, the betting odds, the DraftKings picks, and we set you up for success. Well, apparently COVID hates UFC because we lost our co-main event. It is like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The fight's starting in a few hours. So we had to make adjustments to our lineups. I had Riddell. Dan here had Gillespie. So we've had to make some changes. Some of us, it was easy enough to do a quick swap. Others had to redesign their entire lineup. So we're going to walk through our lineups now. These are our final lineups at this point. So let me walk through mine. The only change I had to make was I had Riddell. I swapped him for Montserrat. And Montserrat in DraftKings, I mentioned this yesterday and they made fun of me. She's listed as Conejo. So it's right here, M. Conejo. That's Montserrat. Conejo's her nickname. I don't know why DraftKings is going by her nickname and not her last name, but that's the swap I made. Riddell was 7,400. It was an easy switch out for a 7,100 Conejo. And let me just walk through the others very quickly. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because we want to get this up and out as quickly as possible for you guys. I'm going with Derek Brunson in the main event. I genuinely think he wins the fight. We've talked about it. We broke that fight down. Check out those videos. His wrestling and Dan mentioned his camp switch have been phenomenal for him. I think he gets that done. I'm going with Conejo over Cheyenne Bays. And that's because although this is a short notice fight, she is a grinder. She is tough as hell. Her wrestling is phenomenal. And I think she can get this done, even though she's a big underdog. I'm going with Delidze over Giles. Delidze is multiple-time world champion grappler. Heavy hands. I think he gets that done. No problem. I'm going with Griffin over Kanan. I think Griffin is just too versatile and he can get it done. Song Kanang has a lot of power, but Griffin just has more tools in his bag. He's more technical and he has wrestling if he needs it. I'm going with Jackson over Strader, the biggest favorite on the entire card. I think that's accurate. I think he gets it done. I saw a few of you comment in the video saying that Strader has a ton of power. He's going to get the knockout win. Anything's possible when you have one punch knockout power, but I just do not see that happening. And then finally, I'm going with Tuivasa over Hunsucker. That's another last minute replacement, but Tuivasa is too technical, too powerful, has too good of a chin to not get a knockout in this fight. So that's my lineup. I only made one change. So I'm still very confident in it. So Dan, why don't you walk us through Jacob's very quickly?
Sure. So Jacob, it looks like he switched his whole lineup around based off of the last minute drop. So he's also got Montserrat Ruiz, Conejo on here. I think we all agree she is a good value pick. Not sure she's going to win. I think Bays is very good. It looked great her last fight, but I think we're all banking on Conejo being able to hang tight in the fight, score some points, and hopefully a decent amount, especially for $7,100. Then he's got Dawson over Santos. So I've got Dawson in my lineup as well. So I'll talk through that in a few minutes, but younger, more athletic, has very good wrestling. So Jacob thinks he's going to get the win. He's got Giles over Delidze. That was his lock of the week. If anybody didn't hear that 1,700 times. I think it's not a bad pick. I think that's a close fight. I think we've all said that Delidze has the grappling edge and submission potential, but Giles is well-rounded, so I think that'll be a good fight, be an interesting one. He's got Kevin Holland over Brunson in the main event, taking the favorite there. I think he thinks that Holland's in his head, in Brunson's head a little bit. I think he just likes his style, the way he talks. I think he thinks he has knockout power, so got Holland. He's got Tuivasa over Hunsucker. Hunsucker taking the fight on, 4 days notice, 5 days notice. So he's obviously a pretty big underdog, even though he just fought a couple weeks ago. But Tuivasa appears to be the much better striker. and obviously had a full training camp. Then he's got Yanez over Lopez, another fight that I think is going to be a great scrap, but Yanez has looked really, really good. Good striking, very calm, calculated, young prospect, getting better every fight. So that should be an interesting fight as well.
So Jacob's lineup is interesting. The rest of us sort of disagree with the Giles pick and disagree with the Kevin Holland pick. But at the end of the day, Kevin Holland's a favorite, so the industry thinks he'll win, even though we don't. And, Jacob sees something in Giles. He's super tough. He's only a very slight underdog. So it's an interesting lineup for sure. And I know a few of you are rolling with it. Let's look at Nick's very quickly. So Nick isn't here. He runs a gym. He's an active Bellator fighter, so he's always training and can't always make these sessions. He's going with Derek Brunson. We've talked about that. He's going with Tai Tuivasa. I just talked about that one as well. He's going with Gustavo Lopez over Yanez. So Lopez is an underdog, but he's super tough. He can get this done. Nick has seen him train before, going to those gyms, watching him train and sort of watching what he does well in the gym. And he's very confident in that pick. Watch that individual breakdown video if you want more information on that. He's also going with Dolidze. I have him. We talked about that earlier. Great grappler, tons of power in his hands, willing to strike, and he's a massive human being. He was a heavyweight. He's worked his way down the middleweight, and he looked phenomenal making the weight. He didn't look sucked out. Then he's going with Montel Jackson. I talked about this. I have him as well. Giant favorite. Should be able to get it done. And Bruno Silva over JP Bays. So you've seen two Bays here. They're a husband and wife duo, and he's going with Bruno Silva. That's a tough pick. Bruno Silva, he's another one that Nick has seen train and I believe trained with. So he's aware of sort of the power that he has and his abilities. That's a tough pick though. JP Bays looks phenomenal and he's been a wrestling stud in his last few fights. But Dan, why don't you walk through your lineup and what changes you've had to make?
First of all, I got to say, as you're going through that, I really like Nick's lineup. I like the Bruno Silva, working Bruno Silva in there. I think he's a very live underdog. I've actually got a couple bets on him at some pretty good plus money. But yeah, no, I like his lineup overall. I like even the Lopez pick. I think that's going to be a scrap. I do think Yanez is going to win, but Lopez has power. He's been fighting for a while. He's always in a good fight, even against really, really tough competition. So I think he's going to make that a scrap. So good lineup from Nick. All right, so I'll run through mine real quick. So first I got Derek Brunson. We've all talked about it. I think the big thing here is going to be wrestling. If he takes him down early and often, I think by the third round, Holland is going to fade, get worn on, and I think Brunson can cruise his way to a decision or even finish him with ground and pound later in the fight. So we'll see how that goes. He's obviously got to avoid the big shots from Holland. Then I got Montserrat Ruiz, Conejo. We talked about it. I think she's just a really good value. I'm hoping she's in shape. Bays has looked really good. So I'm not expecting her to necessarily win this fight, but I'm expecting her to be competitive throughout the course of 3 rounds and hopefully get a good amount of points for $7,100. Then I got Dawson over Santos. So I've been hearing all week from everybody that Santos is a live dog. Maybe I'm dead wrong. I just don't see it. Obviously, anybody with his skill level in the first round is dangerous. He's got a powerful right hand, very, very good jiu-jitsu, but he's 40-something years old and has fought 3 times in the last few years. And his last fight, he was dead tired in the second and third round. So I think Dawson is just a young, up-and-coming guy, improving every fight, great wrestling, great cardio, improving striking, and I think he'll be fight smart, grind out Santos and get a late round, late second, third round finish or cruise to unanimous decision. Then I got Griffin over Kanan. I think this could be a really good fight. Kanan's got the power. I think Griffin's got the overall skill set just about everywhere else. I think he's a better striker. I think he's got a little bit of wrestling in his pocket if he needs it. And same thing with Kanan. We've seen him get very, very tired as fights go on. So I think if Griffin wears on him early, Kanan will fade and Griffin will take over. Then I got Tuivasa over Hunsucker. I wanted to kind of stay away from this fight, to be honest, but with the Gillespie drop, for the money I had left, Tuivasa was kind of next in line. I think he will win this fight. I think he's the better striker. He's very good kicks, good power. but something about heavyweights, man. Hunsucker hits hard. He's knocked a few people cold, and all it takes is one. So, and then also in the back of my mind, I know that Hunsucker in his last fight got tired in the UFC and on Dana White Contender Series, but he's vowed since then that he is not drinking a sip of alcohol until he's back in the UFC. So we may see a refocused, super motivated Hunsucker who's taking this fight on short notice, supposedly, but he just fought 3 weeks ago. So he should be in shape. He should be mentally ready. So I still think Tuivasa gets it done, but something about that Hunsucker guy quitting drinking and just being motivated has me a little nervous. But Tuivasa, $8,900 was next in line. That made the most sense. And then I've got Yanez over Lopez. Same thing we talked about earlier. Yanez is an up-and-coming guy. Every fight, he seems to be getting better. Very, very calm, calculated demeanor. Powerful shots, picks his spots, and just looks like he has great composure for a young, up-and-coming guy, which to see that this early on in his career, I think is the sign of a future prospect. So we'll find out in the fight. But I think it's going to be a scrap against Lopez. So for $8,800, I think he could get a stoppage, or at the very least be in a back and forth brawl that scores a ton of DraftKings points.
Yeah, so we've got 4 lineups for you. We're pretty consistent across a few of these picks, but we do go head to head on a couple of them, so it should be interesting. If you want more information on any individual fight, just check out those individual fight videos. And if you're looking to make some bets, either prop or regular bets, check out our betting video, and you can bet as the fights go on throughout the night. DraftKings, however, your lineup needs to be 100% set before the first fight starts. No matter how, it could be a 5-hour fight card, but your lineup needs to be set before the very first one starts. So make sure you have it ready to go and you're submitted. If there is another drop, come back. I don't know if we'll be able to get on another video, but we'll certainly post something on the Facebook page or in the community section of YouTube. So stay tuned, enjoy the fights, and comment down below what you think of these updated lineups and how that Gillespie drop affected you. Before you go, check out the description below. In there, we have links to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, and more importantly, to our DraftKings League. Check out the league, join the league, participate in the contests, and as we get going and as you start winning, we're going to start handing out gift cards and participating and doing things like that. So check those out. Every week, there are drops on every fight card. So make sure you check out this channel and our social media on Saturday before the fights start so that you have our most updated lineups and picks.